Hi, I'm Brandon from Audio Video Unlimited. Welcome to another AVU Techtorial, and today we're going to be talking about geology. Of course, I'm kidding. This is actually the Paradigm Rock Monitor 60, and this is a outdoor in-your-yard speaker that hides amongst your local stones so that you don't have to look at it, right? Not everybody wants to see a speaker hanging on their fence, so this one, put right in your garden, you barely even notice it's there, except for, the beautiful music. So this comes in 3 different finishes depending on what part of the country you're in and what the stone looks like around your house. And those finishes are like hard rock, classic rock, and alt rock. No, I'm just kidding. Those finishes are things like fieldstone and granite. So I really apologize for the puns here, but I can't help it. It's just too easy. These speakers are, of course, very solid as a rock. I can't help it. Anyways, they are made out of a polycarbonate material, which is incredibly thick and very dead to the knock, so you probably get a very good sound out of them. And when I say probably, I actually tested them. You get a very good sound out of them. They are completely weatherproof. The grill in the front here, which is shaped stainless mesh, is acoustically transparent and it won't rust and it protects your speaker. Obviously these things will be probably down at ground level, so they might take a couple of knocks in their lifetime. They're not going to care. You won't even notice it's happened. The other types of things that we got going on here are on the bottom, which I will show you now. And you got these 2 heavy insulated cables coming out, and those are completely weatherproof by wiring, so you can hook it up to your home system. You can bury these cables, and there's a little hook loop down here. There is an attached stake with this speaker. It's very heavy. There's an attached stake with this speaker, so you can bury it in your garden and cable it down, and of course your speakers won't wander away in the middle of the night because somebody else thinks you got really cool rock speakers. And you can see that the bottom is also sealed with a huge bead of silicone, which is important because moisture and electronics are not friends, right? You release the mysterious blue smoke if you end up getting water in a speaker, and then of course you cease to have music at all. So these speakers have 3 speakers actually built into them, or 3 cones built into them. There is a large 6.5 inch in the 60, and then there's 2 small 1 inch titanium Paradigm cones in there. And so your 2 1-inch tweeters allow you to have a simulated sort of left and right stereo sound, or you have the option of wiring these up so that they're mono. And that would depend on if you want to put 1 rock in a portion of your yard, or if you have space for a couple of these things to get stereo separation between your stones, your rocks, your speakers. And Either configuration sounds really great on these. The audio quality that comes out of these rocks is actually pretty amazing, but I will note that because these things are down on the ground, the audio sounds really good when you're sort of down on the same level as them. So if there's terracing in your gardens, I would put them up on a second terrace where they're maybe more like chest height if you can possibly manage it. If there isn't terracing in your gardens, then I would probably install them with a little bit of a tilt on them. But if you install them with a little bit of a tilt on them, make sure that the water still runs out, because these things have been sculpted so that all the water runs off of them. You don't get pooling on the surface, and that way you don't, have sitting water. Sitting water would eat up the components. So a little bit of tipping, probably okay. A lot of tipping, probably not a very good idea at all. But the sound is really, really good. So for something that's disguised as a rock, where they definitely had the opportunity of skimping out on the acoustic performance, these things play very loud and they play very clearly. And in a stereo configuration, I mean, if you had the house for it, you could use them as bookshelves. It would look pretty odd, and you'd have some extremely heavy cables coming out of the back of your bookshelf, but you'd have a super durable set of speakers. So these Paradigm Rock Monitor 60s are very heavy. The fact that the sculpturing, the shape of the cabinet is what it is, and the material that's in there, it's got huge magnets on the back of these drivers, and they're all sealed from the weather. That's a lot of weight. They're a hefty piece of work, and I don't know how much selection of other rock-shaped speakers there are out there. I can't say that I've ever seen other rock-shaped speakers other than the Paradigms at this point, though I'm sure somebody will put them in the comments. I would say that you would be very, very pleased with these, and when I was doing my review, because I didn't have a whole lot of source material to work from my own experience, I went out there and looked at reviews on these, and anybody who has them out there seems to be absolutely thrilled with them. Now, the 60 is actually the small one. You can have an even larger one of these, and that takes, of course, more wattage to drive, but when you are outside, that is kind of one of your key features, is how much noise can you produce? Because there's no echo in a yard, the sound just flies out there and, you know, visits your neighbors. The loudness tends to be less. So with no reflection off the walls of a room or a ceiling and the sound being completely unconstrained, it kind of emits from here and then quickly dissipates. Plus your yard is probably a lot larger than the largest room in your house, right? So you will have to power these things up to a pretty good level to hear them outside, and bigger might be better, but these will certainly do the job as well. They have an impressive array of volume. It's certainly louder than you want it in any of the configurations that I tested it in. So there's not too much more I can say about this thing. It is essentially a bookshelf speaker. It's just in a really, really cool cabinet. It's got the offset tweeters so that you can have some stereo separation if you want to just run one of these in your yard. It's all sealed up from the weather, and if you're looking for a solution for getting some music out in your yard where you don't have to look at it, or at least it's not super conspicuous, these are excellent. I would have no problem looking at somebody straight in the eyes and going, you should get this, put it in your yard, you'll enjoy it, there'll be no regrets. Yeah. So that's my call on this. If you want to hide a speaker, then you need the Paradigm right here, and you won't be disappointed. We'll see you again for another Techtorial in a couple of weeks, where I reveal some other new and intriguing product from our mysterious warehouse. Until then, enjoy yourselves, and this has been Brandon from Audio Video Unlimited. Cheers.